You know that feeling when everything just clicks? Your mind is sharp, your mood is steady, your body feels like it's firing on all cylinders. That's not luck, that's what your body is capable of every single day. Now, I've looked into a lot of fish oil supplements, and honestly, most of them are mystery sourced, overprocessed, blasted with heat, and packed with synthetic add-ins. But this one is different. Omega-3 Rejuvenate from Big Bold Health starts with wild Alaskan salmon and cod, sustainably caught from some of the cleanest waters on the planet, and then it's processed at low temperatures to preserve what actually matters. We're talking about real omega-3s, naturally occurring vitamins A and D, and pro-resolving mediators, or PRMs, that help your body balance its own immune response. What does that mean for you? Clearer thinking, more stable mood, and real nature-based support for your heart and immune system. No shortcuts, no synthetic nonsense. And it was developed by Dr. Jeffrey Bland, a true pioneer in the world of complementary health. If you want to feel the difference, go to bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman. That's bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman and use code Hoffman for 20% off site-wide. Once you feel it, you'll know. Welcome to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. Today, some exciting news from the people that you've heard from. I'm a big fan of aged garlic extract, aka Kyolic, made by Wakunaga, a great nutraceutical company. Kyolic aged garlic extract is something that I take on a daily basis. And, we've talked to various experts about studies substantiating its benefits. And one of the things I like about this company is they don't just kind of rely on some kind of folkloric legend about how somewhere deep in the Amazon, people who took this extraordinary herb enjoyed great health and longevity, never had cardiovascular disease. No, they actually do very, very impressive scientific research. And we're going to share with you today the results of a new study that substantiates the benefits of aged garlic extract. We've heard about its cardiovascular benefits, its ability to retard the progression of plaque in the coronary arteries, blood pressure benefits, and so on. Today with us is Jane Jansen. Jane is a frequent contributor to Intelligent Medicine. She's a natural and holistic practitioner at the Tree of Life Wellness Center in Massachusetts, where she sees patients and clients. Jane has a unique perspective because she has been on both sides. She has worked on the high-tech side, spending years in radiology and ultrasound, doing research and performing tests on patients with various types of health problems. So she's seen disease from the standpoint of a conventional practitioner. She's seen what plaque can do to the arteries. She's done innumerable carotid artery scans. Getting plaque in the carotid arteries is associated with risk of stroke and cognitive decline. And so she has also participated in integrative medicine. So she is well-schooled in the methodology of natural health. And so she's joining us today to discuss an exciting newly published study, just out, that shows that Kyolic aged garlic extract enhances cognition via a very interesting mechanism that we will describe. So Jane, it's a pleasure having you back on Intelligent Medicine. Thanks very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
Indeed. So, let me just frame this discussion because on the conventional medicine side, we are beginning to make some inroads against Alzheimer's disease. It's high time because just the sheer demographics mean that tens of millions of aging baby boomers and Gen Xers are going to overwhelm our system with severe cognitive problems. It's going to be really a mess. It's going to be a big drain on our healthcare system. There are not enough caretakers to take care of them. Maybe we can build robots. There is no cure. But there are some new drugs that are so-called clot busters. Now, there's been some criticism in medical circles, even among top neurologists, that we've had a kind of a myopic focus on Alzheimer's disease. We're focusing on the end result. We're focusing on the plaque that accumulates in the brains of people with Alzheimer's, and we're developing drugs that are plaque-busting drugs. But these drugs must be employed very early on in the course of Alzheimer's. They must be taken for years. They are very expensive. They have a lot of side effects, including brain swelling and brain bleeding. And some people say, why are we just focused on these clot-busting drugs? Maybe we should be looking at all the other things that go into the Alzheimer's equation. So you've actually written a blog on that subject, right?
Yes. I think you're hitting the nail on the head perfectly as far as more prevention and not just after the fact. Because by the time they discover really that somebody does have Alzheimer's, it's a little late in the game. And so again, you have people that are older that don't withstand these treatments as well. And potentially, again, the side effects can be significant because often they have other health issues such as diabetes, heart disease, other problems, kidney function issues that can also go into why these side effects can be more detrimental. And I know myself, I'm 71 years old now. I don't want to end up in a nursing home parked in front of a television all day, and that's as good as it gets. And so for a lot of my patients is that they are concerned that this is the direction that they could be heading because they've already dealt with it with their own parents or other relatives or friends, that it is shocking to them. Again, the memory loss, the inability to recognize family members, or just cognitive function to be able to read. There's so many things go into keeping the brain healthy so that you don't end up with that decline.
Well, let's, there are different directions we can go in, but I first I want to talk about the study, and then we can talk more generally about Alzheimer's prevention and even treatment of mild cognitive impairment when Alzheimer's looms. Maybe it's, a decade off, but there's early signs, early detection can help us identify people who are at risk. So let's talk about the study, newly published, and describe it. Where did it appear and what does it say?
It's a study in the World Academy of Sciences journal that reported that aged garlic extract can effectively enhance cognitive function by increasing nitric oxide availability. Nitric oxide is an important nutrient. It's a gas that's actually naturally produced that helps to, again, protect the vascular system as well as the neurological system from damage, but also in repair. And this is, so important as far as, again, both the development of Alzheimer's, but also the prevention and protection.
And this is actually along the lines of some research that suggests that Viagra-like drugs for ED, erectile dysfunction, may have a role to play in Alzheimer's prevention and treatment. And, kind of the old joke goes, you ask an older guy, when was the last time you had sex? And he says, I forget. Okay. So there really is something to it. But so the hypothesis is, well, first of all, let's look at the study itself. How many people were involved? What did they do over what period of time? And what were the differences? Because they usually have a treatment group and a control group, right? And the treatment group got the aged garlic extract. What was the research design?
It was a double-blind study. It was randomized using placebo-controlled trial, which conducted. It was actually conducted at the Lundquist Institute at Harbor UCLA in Torrance, California. It involved 72 people with either pre-hypertension or hypertension, um, as well as each participant underwent what they called the Montreal Cognitive Assessment,
The
which
so-called MoCA
measures.
test, yeah, which is like a
Yes.
simple test that doctors and neurologists always do that test. And it is, there are various versions of it. There's actually an online MoCA test that you can take. But when there was controversy about Joe Biden, I don't want to get into that, but they said, what were the results of his MoCA test? And they talked about everything, from tip to toe, but they never revealed the results of that simple Montreal cognitive assessment.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, right. I
But
mean,
it is an important measurement to understand how well somebody is understanding and performing
mhm.
mental health tasks. And they actually divided the group into two. And after 12 weeks, one group received 2,400 milligrams of the aged garlic extract daily,
Okay,
while
so,
the
so
other
just
group.
just hold on for a second right there. Sometimes these studies involve like astronomical amounts of a supplement that if you wanted to take it at home, you'd have to take 12 pills, and it would cost you like $35 a day to replicate the results of the study. So could you explain how that might translate to, real life in terms of an actual product that people can purchase?
That's the really cool aspect of this is that Wakanaga makes this really great aged garlic extract formula that the study was actually based on.
Hmm.
It's called Kyolic a Reserve Age product,
Which is my
and
my
it's.
preferred product. I take it. Yeah.
Yes. And so you're getting a higher dose of the product and can take either you can start with either just 1,200 or you can go higher.
I take
Um,
1,200 for prevention. I don't take that the 4 a day dose. I take one twice daily. But for the study, they used 4 a day, so two twice
they
daily.
use yes. And so I actually take the 4 a day.
Go for it.
Mainly because it has so many benefits to
Yeah,
it, and it's not costly
right.
compared to other types of supplements that are out there. But they found that after 12 weeks, that the research team that was led by Dr. Matthew Budoff,
Who
and
has a
he
great
found,
reputation, by the way. Could I just share that
sure,
he is a really important guy in the field of medicine, very well respected because he is a big guy on calcium scoring. He is actually by training, he's a radiologist, and he is one of the people who has really done the most research on those coronary artery calcium scans and their relevance to cardiovascular risk. So he's very well respected. He's at UCLA. I've interviewed him several times in the past. He's a big deal guy. So the fact that he led his expertise and his reputation to the study, I think, speaks highly of the study.
absolutely. I mean, he is the leader of the pathway that people, in conventional medicine are finally starting to catch up with because his research is so important, way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And so now it's becoming such a key component to patients with coronary artery disease, but now also looking again at brain health
Hmm.
for neurology, it has become so important. And they found again after 12 weeks, just 12 weeks, that 92% of the people in the aged garlic extract group had no cognitive impairment, which is huge. They did not mentally decline at all. While those who were taking the placebos, the pill that didn't have anything in it, they actually did experience more cognitive decline. And so it's a huge, huge factor. And again, coming back to that, the aged garlic extract help to increase the bioavailability of nitric oxide. And that was the key component to this research study. Again, I think is going to be such a huge factor in the prevention of Alzheimer's, dementia, vascular dementia down the road.
Okay, folks, at this point, let's pause and allow one of our sponsors an opportunity to share an important message with you. So here it goes. Please listen up.
Kids don't just bring home homework, they bring home germs. And those germs don't just stay with them, they spread to the whole household. That's why Xlear nasal spray was created by a practicing physician to give parents and grandparents peace of mind. You may not think about it, but your nose is filtering out a semi-truck full of air every single day. Xlear isn't just another spray. It creates an additional layer of protection in your nose that blocks bacteria and viruses before they can even take hold. Yes, even that virus. Supporting your body's defenses right where germs first try to enter. Xlear is a hygiene product recommended for daily use, drug-free, non-drowsy, and safe for all ages. Just a quick spray in the morning and evening helps you cleanse your nose. Don't just hope for protection, create it. Get Xlear nasal spray, your daily defense. Xlear nasal spray is available at retailers nationwide and online. Check out xlear.com for our special offers. That's xlear.com.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. They, of course, are what make Intelligent Medicine a continuing free resource to you. And now back to today's guest, who is Jane Jansen. So the treatment group was not normal individuals or younger individuals. It was mostly older individuals who had already showed some preliminary signs of MCI, mild cognitive impairment, not overt Alzheimer's, but they actually had some decreases in their scores on the MoCA to begin with. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And so again, they did not decline at all.
Right.
Taking the aged garlic extract. Again, they were taking the 2,400 milligrams. The people who, again, were not taking it did have
normal progression.
Decline.
I find it really surprising that in a relatively short time, there were such clear-cut benefits. And so if it were, hypothetically, if aged garlic extract acted as a clot buster, if it broke up, plaque in the brain, it would take much longer to see that kind of dramatic effect. So something's going on where, perhaps one could hypothesize that there's better circulation to the brain.
Absolutely. They also have found that the aged garlic extract helps to repair the endothelial lining of the blood vessel, that when it gets damaged, that's when you get a lot of the plaque buildup starting to begin with. But also now you're looking at the nitric oxide levels that improve the dilatation of the blood vessels to help open them up a little bit, get better circulation, but also helps in nerve repair and nerve protection in the brain. So again, by enhancing the nitric oxide bioavailability with the aged garlic extract from Kyolic, again, significant benefits in many different ways, as well as they've found that nitric oxide also helps to remove help the process of removing waste from the brain that sometimes is a contributing factor, again, to the damage and the buildup of the tau on the nerve fibers.
So there have been some previous studies looking at aged garlic extract. I believe there is a blood pressure study, right, that which suggests that nitric oxide, by virtue of its ability to dilate and expand blood vessels, can help to lower blood pressure by, a few percentage points, comparable in some ways to pharmaceutical drugs, right? That according to some previous studies.
Yes. And there was actually a study that they did with firefighters, and they found that, again, improved not only the vascular and, hypertension, but also the plaque buildup that were in the arteries that actually not only prevent the further plaque buildup, but actually reversed the plaque buildup. And it was one of the studies done on the Kyolic 110 formula, I believe, that had also coenzyme Q10 in it. But the reserve formula is so higher potency, and it also means you don't have to take so many pills.
Yeah.
I mean, after a while, some people feel like they're rattling around because they're taking so many different supplements. And particularly, I find a lot of my patients will ask me, what are the foundational supplements that are going to be helpful? Because otherwise, I'm taking this, I'm taking that,
Yeah.
I'm taking everything else. And how about, my multivitamin? Well, I find personally for myself, as well as for my family and for my patients, that the aged garlic extract, particularly this reserve formula, is a key foundational supplement because it helps on so many different levels, much more than I believe a multivitamin will.
Right.
Not that a multivitamin is bad, but if it came down to a choice between one or the other,
Yeah.
I would go with the Kyolic
Yeah,
aged
I think
garlic.
what you're referring to is, yes, there are cardiovascular benefits, circulatory benefits, anti-stroke, potentially anti-cardiovascular, heart disease benefits, and brain benefits. But also there seem to be immune benefits because this is an example. This compound, aged garlic extract, is a pleiotropic compound, buzzword, fancy word, meaning it's like a Swiss Army knife. It does a lot of things within the body. And it seems to also have, and during COVID, we were talking a lot about its ability to support optimal immune function.
Yes. I think it was a key component for at least myself and my family. We never got COVID.
That's
And
remarkable.
that was one of the major supplements that we used. We actually used the Kyolic 103 immune formula
Hmm.
that has the aged garlic extract plus some antiviral, antibacterial herbs in it that helped. But again, if that to me tends to be seasonal, whereas the reserve formula I think is a daily, ongoing, again, protection.
Indeed. So, a lot of people can hear this and they say, well, that sounds good. Garlic. I mean, I got to eat more garlic. I'll put more garlic into my pasta sauce. I'll cook more with garlic. Garlic is good. So, good for the brain. But I think that kind of misses the point that there's a special property that the aging confers on Kyolic aged garlic extract.
Yes, they age it for over 20 months, which again is changing the component of it's kind of like taking a grape and turning it into wine.
Okay.
It changes the benefits of garlic. And again, it's okay. You can take the regular garlic if you want to, but I can tell you one thing, you're probably not going to be around a lot of people too much because there's a bit of an odor that comes with
Yeah,
it.
you have to have a mutual
And
agreement with your partner that you're both going to eat a lot of garlic. Then it could possibly work.
And this is in part because of what they call an unstable compound called allicin,
Hmm.
which what they do is in the aging process actually turns that unstable allicin into a stable form that is odorless and highly bioavailable antioxidants to it, which helps protect your cells against damage. But particularly, again, the S-acetylcysteine is the superior form of aged garlic extract component that is beneficial.
Yeah, we're hearing more and more about nitric oxide as something that's beneficial. Actually, it's based on Nobel Prize winning research fairly recently, within the last couple of decades, that they recognize that nitric oxide, not nitrous oxide. A lot of people think, oh, this is laughing gas. No, that's a little something different. That's what the dentist gives you sometimes, if you're lucky. Uh, the nitric oxide actually underlies the principle of action of many heart drugs, drugs that, nitroglycerin, just one of the oldest heart drugs around. You see these movies where, it's like a murder scenario where somebody, hides the bottle of nitroglycerin and the guy clutches his chest and, he can't get to his nitroglycerin fast enough. And, that's how they, that's how they knock off somebody in a movie. But nitroglycerin literally is something that can save you if you have a coronary artery spasm because it dilates the blood vessels. Well, they started doing research, and they said, well, let's develop a heart drug based on nitroglycerin. And lo and behold, they tested a bunch of men, true story, for this heart drug. And then they said, well, study's over. And so a lot of the guys questioned the study leader and said, well, where can we get a hold of some of this stuff? They said, why? The study's over. We'll give you your money. Thanks for participating in the study. And they said, well, there's this interesting property that nitric oxide has. And lo and behold, that was the birth of Viagra. And then there was, Levitra and Cialis, other copycat drugs that invoke the nitric oxide principle that enhances circulation. And then they discovered, and I don't know if this is ever going to pan out as a treatment potentially for Alzheimer's disease, but, these drugs actually seem to, demonstrably, they work to improve cognition. Yes. So, interesting story.
They've also found that over time, that they actually line the coating of the stents now that they use for angioplasty with nitric oxide type.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, to help prevent, keep the blood vessels open.
Interesting.
So it's pretty amazing, the technology.
So, okay, so our call to action is, you can find out more about Kyolic aged garlic extract via their website, which is kyolic.com, Kyolic, and it's available at retailers. It's one of the best-selling aged garlic products. Originally, I used that about 40 years ago. I think I discovered Kyolic aged garlic extract, and the selling point was that it didn't make you smell. That it was a kind of a deodorized garlic. So I said, oh, that you get the benefits of garlic without the odor. But then subsequently, I think they discovered and proved all these unique health benefits. So you can find out about Kyolic aged garlic extract via kyolic.com. The formulas are available at all your local health food stores and online. So in part two, you recently blogged on the subject of preventing cognitive decline. And I want to hear from you because, as we age, I think we need sort of a multi-pronged approach to prevention of cognitive decline. Kyolic aged garlic extract could be part of that program, but it's we need an all-of-the-above approach, utilizing diet, lifestyle, sleep, exercise. And so we'll talk about the roles that those may play in forestalling cognitive decline when we return with today's expert. She's Jane Jansen, a natural and holistic practitioner. She's at the Tree of Life Wellness Center in Massachusetts. Give out the information about Tree of Life.
If people want to call, they can call my office at 508-336-4242, or they can go to our website at tolwellnesscenter.com.
Okay. When we return, more on the subject of cognitive preservation. Yeah, that's a real important factor for us as we face our senior years. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, and this is the Intelligent Medicine Podcast.